Hello my sweet friends, welcome back. Today we are going to be going through my physical TBR. So I'm going to be talking through all of the unread books that I have on my shelves. I love watching these videos. I think it's so interesting to see which books people own, why they may have bought them, why they may have not read them yet. And so I'm excited to show you my collection. Hopefully this will make you feel better if you have a bunch of unread books on your shelves. And before I get comments asking why I own so many books, I just love books. I love collecting them, I love buying them, I love reading them. Yes, I own a Kindle and I use it often. Yes, I own a library card and I use it often, but I just read a lot of books. I love them. It's my favorite thing. You can choose to spend your money however you may like. I choose to spend mine on books. In saying that, my library is not as big as some other booktubers on this platform, but I love it. My books bring me so much joy and I'm excited to talk through them today. As you can see behind me, we have two Billy bookshelves from IKEA. I'm only going to be going through one of them today. I'm not going to be going through this one because it is mostly non-fiction. I would say 90% of the books on this shelf are my husband's. I am married to another lovely reader, but he reads things that I definitely do not. So there's a lot of chemistry, engineering, Christian non-fiction, business, finance, all of those types of books on that side. So we're not going to be going through those today. This is my side. It's all fiction, and these are the ones I'll be talking through today. I have turned a lot of the books around to be facing outwards, the pages facing outwards, and that is because I've decided to turn around every book that I have read. So this is not a bookshelf tour. I'm not just going to be going through my bookshelf. I'm just going to be showing you the ones that I haven't read. So all of the ones that I haven't read, the spine is facing outwards so that I can talk through them and show you them. And I will also make sure that I won't forget to talk about any because I'm only talking about the ones with the spines facing outwards, if that makes sense. But for now, let's go through my physical TBR. Also, I'm really sorry if it's a bit echoey in here. There's not a lot in this room apart from this bookshelf. I've tried my best with the audio situation. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully you don't mind. And also hopefully the lighting is okay. This is not my preferred filming space, but I need to be with my bookshelves to show you these things. So let's get into it. My top shelf is mostly for my thrillers and mysteries, and I don't read heaps of these. Like, it's not my top favorite genre, but I do get into thriller moods every so often. And so these are the ones that I haven't read yet. Starting off with The Family Doctor by Deborah Oswald. A friend of mine read this and loved it and recommended it to me, so I am yet to pick it up. I just haven't been in the mood, honestly, but I am excited to read it. I also have two Leanne Moriarty books on this shelf. I have read a lot of Leanne Moriarty's books, but I do have two that I haven't read yet. So we have Truly Madly Guilty. I have no idea what this is about, and we have Apples Never Fall. No idea what this is about. I really enjoy Leanne Moriarty's writing. She's an Australian author. We love to support Australian authors. She is the author of Big Little Lies, 9 Perfect Strangers. She's one of the authors that actually got me into reading, so I definitely will get to these at some point. I just haven't yet. And then we have The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I actually read a book by this author really recently and really enjoyed it. And then I also bought this one recently, which I do think I'll pick up kind of soon. This is a YA mystery. I'm not sure if it's a YA thriller. It's called The Girls I've Been, and it's about a daughter of a con artist. And I really love YA mysteries because they're usually just a bit more fun and fast paced, but also the fact that she's a daughter of a con artist just really intrigues me. And then the last two unread books that I have on my thriller shelf are these two. We have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I've read a bunch of Lisa Jewell books. I really like her writing. It is a little bit darker, and so I definitely have to be in the mood for it. And then we also have Dark Places by, I've heard people say Gillian Flynn and Gillian Flynn. I don't know which one is correct. This is the author of Gone Girl, which I have read and really enjoyed. And I actually thrifted this kind of recently. I actually have no idea what it's about. Moving down to the next shelf, this is one of my fantasy shelves, and I'm actually really proud of this one because I only have a few unread books on here. And most of them are part of the Throne of Glass series. I have read the first 5. I still have 3 left. So we have Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. And I am a little bit intimidated to read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn because I really want to attempt the tandem read, but I know it's just gonna take me a hot minute to finish because the books are chunky. Like they're decent size, you know? And then I'm even more intimidated to read Kingdom of Ash because I think it's just under 1,000 pages, and I've never read a book that, 984 pages, and I've never read a book that large before. I would love to finish this series by the end of the year. So far I've been kind of reading like one a month, so I'm on track, but fear of big books is getting to me. And then the last one that I have on this shelf that I haven't read is Girl Serpent Thorn, which is one of the most beautiful books on my bookshelf. I absolutely love it. I just love the colors and the illustrations. This was a bit of an impulse buy. I was just at the bookstore one day, had a gift card, saw this in the YA fantasy section, which is probably my favorite. I love YA fantasy. Saw this, looked interesting, loved the cover, bought it. Haven't picked it up yet, but I know I will at some point. I think it's just a case of I have other books on my fantasy TBR that I'm more desperate to read, but I'm still excited about that one. To be honest, I'm excited about every book that I have on my physical TBR. I wouldn't own it if I didn't want to read it. But yeah, moving down to the next shelf. We obviously have a few more unread books on these shelves. Most of them are part of series, and the main reason I haven't picked them up yet is because I don't like reading multiple series at once, or at least reading more than 2 series at once. So I have been reading obviously Throne of Glass, and I actually just finished the Shatter Me series, and I was reading both of those at the same time. But now that I've finished the Shatter Me, I'll probably pick up one of these trilogies. I just don't know which one yet. But we do have a few standalones, so let's start off with those. We have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, who is the author of The Night Circus, which I also haven't read, but I would love to read both of these books. Again, this is YA, and it's about a guy who finds a book about his life, and it just sounds absolutely fantastic. I've heard incredible reviews about this one. I also love the cover. I love the gold foiling. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. We also have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I thrifted this a few months ago. After I picked it up, I heard someone say that it's quite dark, and I just don't know if it'll be my thing. I'm pretty sure it's dark academia. I love Leigh Bardugo's writing. She also wrote Shadow and Bone trilogy, the Six of Crows duology, which I really enjoyed. So I know I like her writing. I just don't know if this particular book is going to be my thing. And then we also have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have no excuse as to why I haven't picked this up yet, because this is one of the most hyped books on the internet, or at least it was at a certain point in time, and I don't know why I still haven't picked it up. I honestly think I am going to enjoy it. I know it's quite slow, and obviously it's quite chunky. I don't know, there's just been nothing that has pulled me toward this book. Moving on to the series that I have on this shelf, I'll probably pick up one of these next. I just don't know which one. First of all, we have the Prison Healer trilogy. So we have the Prison Healer, the Gilded Cage, and the Blood Trader. I literally know nothing about this trilogy apart from everyone was really excited when the 3rd book came out recently, and I saw all the hype for that, so I bought the whole trilogy because I had a gift card. That's all I know about it. And then on this side, we have the Poppy War trilogy, which again, I've heard amazing things about. I've heard R.F. Kuang's writing is just absolutely phenomenal. So I definitely will pick it up soon. The Poppy War is one of my 22 books to read in 2022. So I would love to pick it up in the next few months. I don't know what's putting me off because I've heard nothing but incredible things. And then lastly on this shelf, we have the Plated Prisoner series, or at least the first 3 books. These are some of my favorite covers that I have, and also some of my favorite spines. I love black books with gold foiling. I just think they're absolutely stunning. I'm pretty sure this is an adult fantasy series. There are actually 4 books out, but the 4th book has only been printed in Australia in the larger paperback size, which would not match the rest of the series that I have, and so I don't want that. It's also white. Why on earth would you just switch the color halfway through a series? I don't understand, and I know there's going to be a 5th book. I'm hoping when they bring out the like standard classic paperback size, they might bring it out in black. I don't know, but it's really just put me off. Anyway, I pretty much know nothing about what this book or what this series is about, but it's beautiful. And that was another like birthday gift card purchase. I usually like stock up on books during Christmas and my birthday and then just read them for the rest of the year, and so that's what pretty much all of these purchases were. Moving down to the next shelf, we have come into my romance books. So starting off, we have Funny You Should Ask. I honestly just haven't been in a rom-com mood recently, but this is on my TBR for this month, so we'll see. Next we have One Day by David Nichols. I also have another book by this author on the next shelf, so I might just talk about both of them now. When I was visiting my auntie earlier this year, she has the most amazing home library, and I was looking through her books and I was asking her for recommendations, and she suggested this author, and in particular this book. And then a few months ago I was thrifting and I found both of these, so I picked them both up. I don't know that much about them. I don't think they're rom-coms. I think they're going to be like heavier romances, which I love. I showed this in a TikTok at one point as well, and so many people were like, Rachel, you're going to love that. So we'll see when I pick this one up. Next we have You Deserve Each Other. This one was really popular a while ago, and then I feel like I've heard a lot about it again really recently. I want to pick this up really soon, but again, haven't been in the rom-com kind of mood. Then we have The Song of Achilles. This is again on my 22 books to read in 2022. I haven't picked it up yet. It's been on my shelf for like a year. I feel like sometimes when a book has a lot of hype on the internet, it almost puts me off reading it if I don't read it as soon as I hear the hype. It makes your expectations so high, and I've had so many times where I've read a really hyped up book and had really high expectations going in, and those expectations haven't been met. I think that's the same kind of thing that I've got with Addie LaRue. My expectations are just so high because so many people rave about those books, and I'm just scared it's not going to live up to the hype, I guess. Then we have the Dreamland Billionaires series. The Fine Print and Terms and Conditions. These were honestly, I'm not gonna lie, they were impulse purchases. I was just a big W one day, I saw them, I've heard so much hype about them, and I just grabbed them. And then like a month ago, I picked up Throttled on my Kindle by Lauren Asher, same author, and I DNF'd it halfway through. It wasn't bad at all, it just wasn't good enough that I wanted to read it. Like I just had so many other books that I would rather spend my time reading. And I just have a feeling that that is gonna be the same case with these ones, and I really hope it isn't because I really want to love them, but I'm just scared that Lauren Asher isn't for me. And so because I DNF Throttled, I've kind of just been avoiding these. But they could end up being really good. I could end up loving them. I just don't know. And then the last book that I have on this shelf that I haven't read is Magnolia Park's Long Way Home. I'm so excited to pick this up. I'm currently in the middle of Daisy Hates. I might have finished it by the time this video goes up, but the only reason I haven't picked up this one yet is because I just haven't got to that point in the series yet. Moving down to the next shelf, we only have one on this side. Very proud. This is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's the only book on her backlist that I haven't read. I need to get to it. I love her writing. I love her books. So I'm sure I'm gonna love this one. Then we have The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. And I actually tried to read this a month or so ago. And I don't want to say I DNF'd it. I just kind of wasn't in the mood for it. But I'm sure I'll pick it up at some point. We also have, these books are so packed in here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get them out. We have The Summer of Broken Rules. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year because I've just heard so many great things about it. The only reason I haven't picked this one up is because it's not summer here in Australia, and I really want to read a summer book in summer. The last summery book I read was The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it made me crave summer so badly that I was sad that it was cold. And so I don't want the same thing to happen with this book. I don't want it to make me sad. So I'm saving it for summer. Then we have Tell Me Lies. I'm really excited to read this. The only thing that's put me off this is the formatting. The formatting of this book is disastrous. I'm so confused. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the text is literally the tiniest text I've ever seen in my life, and I hate it. I actually don't know that much about it, which is what I want. I want to go in blindly, but I've just heard incredible reviews. So I think I will pick it up at some point, but the formatting is the thing that's put me off, which is so dumb, but I'm really picky with my formatting. Then we have While You Were Reading. I've heard nothing about this book. I've heard no one talk about it. I thrifted it one day, and I think I will get to it at some point. It's just like not very high on my TBR. Then we have Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, and to be honest, I don't know if I'll ever pick this one up. The reason I own it is because it was one of the most hyped up books on BookTok for the longest time, like right when BookTok was like peaking at the beginning, and everyone was raving about Punk 57. And then after I got it, I realized like how like spicy it is and just like the type of books that Penelope Douglas writes, and I just don't think it's gonna be my vibe. So I honestly don't know if I'll ever pick it up. I might, I don't know. I'm unsure. It's definitely not high on my TBR. It's probably right at the bottom. Then we have Leaving Ocean Road and The House of Second Chances. I got sent this first book by one of you guys because it's one of your favorites, and so I'm excited to pick it up. And then I actually found the second book at an op shop. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the second book to the book that I already own, so I'm gonna pick that one up. Moving down, we're like on the floor. Down here, these are all my Colleen Hoover books, and so the only two that I haven't read that I own is Maybe Someday and Maybe Not. I just haven't heard the best things about them, so I'm not like desperate to read them. And then we have my Addicted Calloway books, and the only three I haven't read are Fuel the Fire, Long Way Down, and Some Kind of Perfect, which again, I'm gonna get to them. I'm pretty determined to finish the series by the end of this year, but I'm just gonna be really sad to finish it, so I've kind of been putting it off so that I can just prolong my Addicted Calloway experience. And then on the end here, we just have one more book that I haven't read, and that is More Than Words by Mia Sheridan. I love Mia Sheridan. I've loved everything I've read by her. And again, I'm excited to pick it up. She has a lot of like deeper, more emotional romances, not like rom-com vibes, and that is my favorite type of romance. I love like a really deep emotional romance. She is the author of Archer's Voice, which is my favorite book, so love her stuff. She also has heaps of books on Kindle Unlimited, which is amazing. Now I'm gonna move you guys over to my other bookshelf, which is just a little one. So this is my little mini bookshelf. It was a TV unit. It's like our old TV unit, but then we got a new one, and I realized that I could use this as like a mini bookshelf, and I ran out of space on my other one. So now this is also my bookshelf, I guess. Over this side, we have a lot of my literary fiction books, which I'm not in the mood for super often, but I do enjoy reading them every now and then. I just have to be in a very particular mood. So we have Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I love Normal People by Sally Rooney, 5-star book for me, so I'm intrigued to see what I think about this one. We also have Open Water, which I'm really excited to read at some point. I don't know when. And then we have The People We Keep, and I actually know nothing about what this book is really about, but it's such a beautiful cover. It was sent to me by one of you guys because it's one of your favorite books. Then a little quick fire round. We have Rachel Rachel's Holiday, All the Light We Cannot See, and Boy Swallows Universe. All of these I'm excited about, just haven't been in the mood for. And then I recently picked up My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which is super popular, and I think I'm gonna get to this one quite soon. It's pretty high on my TBR. I thrifted this for like $2 at my local op shop. I was so shocked to see it there. It was just my lucky day, I think. Then we have My Dark Vanessa. I've heard amazing things, but it's pretty dark, so I just need to be in the right like mental space to pick that one up. And then we also have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Again, heard incredible things. And then over here we have a couple of YA books. We have The Memory of Flora Banks, and then I also have, this is a new edition as well, I thrifted this at the same time I got My Year of Rest and Relaxation. This is called The Disreputable History of Frankie Lando Banks. But this is by E. Lockhart, who is the author of We Were Liars. And when I read We Were Liars, at the time I loved it, but it was one of the first books that I read when I got back into reading, and I didn't have a lot to compare it to, so I don't know if I would think it was as great now as I originally did, but I am intrigued to read more of E. Lockhart's writing to see just how it compares, I guess. And so I picked this up from the thrift store because I was like, oh, I know that author. I looked at the back, it looked interesting. It's YA, it sounded fun. We'll see what I think. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. If you've read it, let me know if it's good. And then down the bottom, all of these are thrifted and most of them are part of series. Over here I have The Mortal Instruments and The Infernal Devices. I'm so excited to pick these up, but I don't want to start another long fantasy series until I finish Throne of Glass. I've heard amazing things about The Infernal Devices, not such great things about The Mortal Instruments, but I think I got all of these for a total of like $30. I was really determined to collect all of them from a thrift store because they used to be such popular books, so I knew that they'd be really easy to find secondhand. I think I'll probably read them next year. Maybe I'll film a reading vlog, we'll see. Then I have Insurgent, Allegiant, and Four. These are part of the Divergent series. I've read the first one and I haven't picked up the other ones. I guess I was just reading Shatter Me, which is a different YA dystopian series, so it probably wouldn't have been a good idea to pick these up at that point in time. Maybe I'll pick them up sometime soon because I loved Divergent. And then I have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and the other two books in that trilogy. And again, I just thrifted these one day. They looked interesting. Haven't picked them up yet. They still look interesting to me. They are just chunky books and the font is really small in these. But I did recently find out that my library does have the audiobooks for these, so I might pick those up soon, do a bit of a tandem situation. And then my last book on my shelf that I haven't read is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Very, very excited to read this. This is one of Noel Gallagher's favorite books, and so I have high expectations for this. But I think is it sci-fi or is it dystopian? But those are all of the unread books that I currently own. Okay, I actually lied. I do have a couple on this side that I own but I haven't read. I have a couple Francine Rivers books. We have The Bridge to Haven, A Lineage of Grace, and also Leota's Garden. I pretty much thrift all of my Francine Rivers because they're pretty easy to thrift. Love her stuff. She's a Christian fiction author. And then I have a couple of these really cute little orange penguin. I don't know if they're technically all classics, but I love collecting these when I find them. Most of the time I thrift them. But I have The Secret History, which I actually tried to read kind of recently, and I want to say I like soft DNF'd it. I think I will pick it up again sometime soon, but I just wasn't in the mood at the time. And then I have Wuthering Heights and 1984. Again, I think I will pick these up at some point. I'm just very rarely in a classics mood, so. But these are the only two classics that I own that I haven't read, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. But those are all of the books that I have on my physical TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I love watching these. I'm so nosy, so hopefully the rest of you nosy people out there enjoyed this too. I have gotten a lot better about purchasing books recently. I feel like my mindset has kind of changed. My goal is to get my physical TBR down to like between 10 and 20 would be ideal, and then keep it at 10 to 20 books for the rest of my life. I don't like the idea of having a whole bunch of books on my shelves that I haven't read. I used to love the idea of just like having a huge library even if I hadn't read all the books, but I'm not as into that anymore. The goal for the rest of this year is just to work on my physical TBR as much as possible, and I reckon I could probably halve the books on my TBR by the end of this year if I really try. So we'll see if I can get that goal completed. But I love you guys so much. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. I post book videos all the time. I'm pretty sure I'll have my wrap up and my TBR coming out next week for you guys, so make sure you stick around for that. And I guess I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Goodbye.